Hey, it's the Fort Worth Playboy,
And my Playboys Bunny.
and welcome to today's podcast where we talk about pickup, game, attraction, relationships, and
Sex.
we all have our favorite interests that we're enthusiastic about. But specifically today, we're going to be talking about promoting and demoting girls because I put out a survey yesterday as far as like rotations. What's the ideal number? One is not the number that we offered at all, but 2, 3,
Well, that's
4,
not
5.
a rotation.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. That's what I said to somebody. But I saw 3 as the ideal number.
Yeah.
Came from like 57, 60% of the guys. And that's what I found too in my experience over time.
Yeah.
So you have to have different categories for girls, especially if you're running multiples over time, because as we'll talk about a little bit later, you're always replacing people.
Yeah.
If you're not a boyfriend kind of guy, or at least at that moment.
Yeah.
Because sometimes a guy's not looking for something serious for a few years.
And in my experience as a female, most guys aren't looking to be a boyfriend right off the bat.
Exactly.
Which is totally fair because you don't want to jump into some fuck buddy and it's like you're trying to girlfriend her up or whatever. Nobody wants that.
Exactly.
There's desperation there.
Exactly. So what we're talking about is basically how, when you're running multiple girls, managing who they are, where they're at in your life. And so you kind of have to have some clear definitions. And so if we're talking about, the lowest level, girls that aren't fucking you don't matter, first of all.
Right.
You shouldn't be talking to them. You shouldn't be opening doors for them. You shouldn't even be wasting your time with them. But a girl that you are fucking regularly is going to fall under a fuck buddy or a friend with benefits, depending on, whether you picked her up off the street or if she was a friend from your social circle, But either way, these are girls that you're having sex with, but it's most important that what you don't do.
Yeah.
So they don't start running into the second category, which is what I call girlfriend candidates. These are girls that have a little bit more potential, that you do more with, and we'll talk about that. And then you have girlfriends at the third category. These are committed relationships, or as committed as she can get you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But number one, a fuck buddy or friend with benefit, and it's very hard because I found it hard because I like to do stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you can't.
Well, especially if it's a friends with benefits because you're already friends.
Yeah.
So you do run into things, or you do run into them at social events or whatnot.
But you have to keep it separate.
Yeah.
And so fuck buddies and friends with benefits means they come over or you travel to them and you guys have sex. There isn't any dating involved. There's no going out. No. There's no even going out for a drink.
No.
This is completely a isolated. We go to where we're going to bang. You might meet up.
Yeah.
Bang in the car.
Yeah.
Then you separate. But that's what it is. There's no sleeping over.
No. There's
no sticking around. There's very little pillow talk.
Yeah.
Just fast enough for you to recover and head out the door.
Right.
It's just a sexual relationship.
Yeah.
And again, that's where, surprisingly, people tend to kind of find their own level, especially if you're pulling from like social circles, and now you're having sex, but it's not that hard, at least in the beginning, to kind of like keep it separate. Keeping your social circle and your sex life with this girl separate from everything else.
Especially with the social circle girls, I would think it actually adds a little bit of interest that you've got this little secret.
And girls like, yeah.
Girls like that too.
Yeah, it's nice to run that in the background, and nobody ever needs to know.
Especially because if she's a social circle friend with benefits, she doesn't want everyone to know either because she's still looking for Mr. Serious in her social circle.
And that's the one thing you kind of have to recognize while you're running a rotation. And I know it's hard. I even paused just because this is how hard. Guys, they're going to fuck other guys.
Yeah.
They're just
Especially fuck buddies.
They're never going to tell you about it.
Yeah.
You don't need to know. If you ask, they'll lie.
Yeah.
You know, and if they don't lie, they're going to hurt your feelings. You know, I mean, it's just the way it is. But they're going to see other people, and that's just part of the game.
And they likely not only have other fuck buddies, but they're also likely dating with a purpose. So
Exactly.
They're running multiple other men at their own varying levels. I have a question in this category, in the friends with benefits fuck buddies category. Is this like a level where it's like, bring a pizza, I've got beer in the fridge? I mean, like that kind of thing?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you could like hang at home a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
But there's nothing like outside.
No, nothing outside. That's the best way to look at it.
Yeah.
And the sleeping over thing, that was never a big issue with me, like as far as like nobody stayed over.
Yeah.
They usually
truly fuck buddies, that does make it, sleeping over makes it more
intimate.
Yeah.
So, and that's what you're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
One, when we're talking about this, as far as like relationship management, the golden rule is once a week. You know, you got Miss Tuesday night, you got Miss Thursday night, you got Miss. You really should avoid weekends, because then they start thinking they're your girlfriend.
Well, and on weekends you're needing to be taking out new girls,
exactly.
You know, on occasion.
But that's the deal. I mean, usually, you know, structure it, and this is just a suggestion from what we've seen, what works best. You're seeing them once a week, but it really is a sexual relationship.
Yeah.
You know, and every once in a while, like, if she leaves the office early and she can swing by on her way home.
Exactly.
You know, even better. You know, I mean, you fit her in. But friends with benefits or fuck buddies are the same thing. They get none of the, what would you say, benefits of being a girlfriend candidate.
Right.
And when you decide that, you know, they might ask you to an event, and this is really what usually how, it's a slippery slope, and you usually see this in college. You know, she's okay with being a fuck buddy, but now she has a formal.
Yeah.
And she likes you.
Or there's a wedding coming up, and she doesn't have a date. Yeah.
So that's how you decide whether you want to promote her or demote her.
Yeah.
Like girlfriend can't. Because the first time you guys go out, you've got this girl that you're familiar with. You're familiar with enough, and you like her enough to actually have sex with her regularly. And now you're out and about. And it's usually a pretty good time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's not all the pressure of like seeing somebody the first time. And so now she turns into a girlfriend candidate.
Yeah.
You know? And so...
Or in her family's eyes, family and friends' eyes, she's a girlfriend.
Yeah, now you're her boyfriend. Whether you know you moved up real fast. So it's very difficult to move backwards.
Yeah.
You know, and as a girlfriend, what is a girlfriend candidate? A girlfriend candidate is a girl that you're dating. In the traditional sense, you meet out for drinks, you go out to dinner, you go to events.
Yeah.
You're seen together. You do things together. You guys communicate beyond just, hey, when are you going to come over?
Yeah.
You know, there's some interaction. And that's a girlfriend candidate. You know, but she knows you're not exclusive.
Right.
You haven't had the talk, or she keeps finding girls' clothes in your house.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, she knows. They're not that dumb. They may play dumb, but they know.
Yeah.
And these girls are the ones that kind of get in a little bit of trouble because they want to keep an even keel. They know you're seeing other girls, but they start having trouble seeing other guys.
Yeah.
Because you're the one that they like.
Or they see other guys almost as a retribution, or
yeah, they're like, evening the score.
Yeah, he's almost kind of in way. I think a lot of times that comes in waves with girls. It's like sometimes she's okay with it.
Yeah.
With you seeing other girls and her just kind of fucking you and having fun with you, and then they kind of go, maybe they get drunk with their girlfriends or something like that, and they're like, well, I want to, you know. And then they'll get back on the apps, you know, things like that. I remember this coming up with us once, early. But, you know, they kind of get back on the apps, but they may start chatting with a couple of guys or whatever. And
it's their way to keep an even keel.
Yeah. It's their way of like balancing it all in their heads. It really has nothing to do with you, except for it means that they would have really liked to have been a little higher on your list. They wanted to be more than a candidate. And
here's the deal, too. They have other guys that are equal your level.
Yeah.
They're kind of trying, I mean, sometimes they'll like you more than the other, but they're really, girls that are smart and dating with a purpose will have a couple guys that have boyfriend potential.
Yeah.
And they're looking for the guy that they can kind of fit into his lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's really how girls look at men.
Well, the bottom line is girls have a lot less time on their hands to just fuck off by having one maybe kind of boyfriend
Can't
at a
run that
time.
forever. Nope.
We don't have that kind of time. Our clock is ticking, our age, and I mean our aging
Truly.
clock. I don't only mean like biologically, like
Yeah.
baby making. I mean like our aging clock is ticking so hard and fast that kind of casually dating, fucking some guy who has no interest in any long-term potential is just detrimental. And it's not really good for our psyches either.
And then the girlfriends are the traditional girlfriends that, whether you had the conversation or not, you're not seeing anybody but them. And there's guys that, there's open relationships and all that, but that's not the majority. That's not the purpose of this.
Yeah.
We try to cover as much like normal ground as we can.
Right.
So those are the three big categories. And demoting a girl from girlfriend, let's say they get drunk too easy.
Yeah.
They piss you off. They fuck a buddy of your, they may not even
disrespect
know
you,
it's, yeah,
they
disrespect.
embarrass you.
And you don't want to like cut her loose completely, which most guys, you'll fuck a girl till she literally just walks off.
Yeah.
You have to cut out the going out part.
Yeah.
And you're demoting them. And you don't have to tell them. When you're demoting a girl, you don't have to tell them.
No.
And I've also gotten the question before, like, can girls move back up? And some guys say no. Once you're demoted, you're down. She stays there.
Well, because they
she has
can't
the
risk
propensity.
it. Yeah, they know.
Yeah. And I think life is a little bit messier than that. So, it depends on what you want to do. And but there is the risk of like over investing in a girl that you're allowing to move through the ranks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like in a company where you see a favorite child moving up and down and fucking up and being demoted and bringing back up,
Yeah.
And it kind of hurts the whole system.
Yeah.
So, if you demote a girl, be on the mindset of you're demoting her permanently and then she's out the back door,
Yeah.
And you don't have to tell them.
No.
They can figure it out.
Yeah. In fact, giving them a speech about it will just
turn them off.
Yeah. It's not sexy.
If you give a girl a speech about her behavior, it tells her that you don't get it.
Yeah.
And girls want men that just get it.
And the best thing you can do is just remove that extra attention that the girlfriend or girlfriend candidate was receiving.
Yeah.
So now she's for fucking.
Yeah.
She doesn't get the special treatment of dates.
You don't go out. Just
Yeah.
come on over. Yeah. Bring some wine.
Yeah.
I'll see you at 11.
Yeah.
You start later.
Yeah, exactly.
And you kick her out.
Yeah.
Hey, I got an early morning. It's ugly, but she earned it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then when you want to move girls up again, you have to know that it's going to be hard to demote them.
Yeah.
It's usually like they say, they either get promoted up or out.
Right.
It's like the military. You're either going up or you're going out.
And I could see like a girl who either gets promoted through the ranks a little bit or gets demoted and then she kind of cleans up her act and realizes that you're worthy of paying attention to this kind of stuff. And so she gets promoted back. Then if she fucks up again, even if it's not in the same way, that's more of I could see just breaking it off. Like that's more of a breakup.
Yeah. Number 2 is like a decision of placement comes down to really, how do you decide where these girls want to land? It comes down to your desire, where you want them, her behavior, and what she wants to. Because sometimes you may want to move a girl up, and they're happy. They're happy being a fuck buddy.
Yeah.
That's where they're at mentally at that point. So there's usually like 3 things that you have to balance is, what do I want out of this? What's her behavior? Is she worth promoting?
Yeah.
And does she even want to move up?
Now, if a girl is a fuck buddy and you're kind of like, I could spend more time with her. I'd actually enjoy like hanging out with her more and things like that. But she's not really of that mindset. is she? Are you going? Hey, let's do this. Be there at 5:00, and we're gonna go here. And she's like, I can't. I've got. Is that how it works, or how does that?
That's pretty. I mean, they won't allow themselves to be available.
Yeah.
And they'll still see you. I mean, that's just.
They'll still fuck you. They
Yeah,
just they aren't available for.
Exactly.
Other
And they
stuff.
may just not have it in them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at that point in their life, they're not looking for anything more. And they know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Girls aren't stupid, but.
Well, and I wonder if it also falls under the category of they know that they're not really worthy of, kind of like they know they're a piece of shit. So if you're treating them well, you must be a bigger piece of shit.
It's interesting.
That kind of thing. Oops, sorry. I just wonder if that's they feel in their hearts they're not worthy to be higher than a fuck buddy.
I could see that.
And that's a sign of damage.
Yeah. But you're going to run across. But that's a good point.
Yeah.
I never. But no one's ever going to just come out and say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the third thing is recognizing that when you're running girls in a rotation, they're going to drop off.
Oh,
99% of them.
Yeah.
And you can have a girl in your rotation for a year, 2 years, but girls that are dating with a purpose, that are the ones that are going to come in for maybe 6 months and then out.
Yeah.
They're dating a lot of men, and they know exactly how to manipulate men.
Yes.
In the best sense possible, just like we run our games, they run their games.
And hide men from other men.
Yeah, exactly. And they may not hide them from you.
Yeah, if you're purely a fuck buddy, you'll probably know a lot more about the other men than anyone else.
They'll feel free to talk to you about it.
Than even girlfriends would know about it, in fact.
Exactly. Well, that's like, oh yeah.
Seriously.
Sure. Well, that's just like, I had a girl coming over, and she had one guy that she could tell he was starting to finally get excited when she'd show up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know about him, but does he know about me? And she's like, oh God, no.
Yeah.
No, they're like, there are men that cannot handle that.
No.
So you have to recognize.
But they are, in all fairness, they are now married. I mean, she was dating with a purpose, and she
as good as you can do
nailed it down.
Yeah. Smart girls date with a purpose. We've seen a handful of girls that break up with one guy, and the next week they've got a new boyfriend.
Yeah, and they're traveling and having the best life. Yeah.
They don't stop. And sometimes it can take a few months for them to find the right guy.
Yeah.
But just know that they're usually going to move on. Mm-hmm. Because girls, they might be able to bang a couple guys, 2, 3 guys for a while. But it's usually not for a long time. I don't know if it's logistically.
It's hard. It's harder emotionally, I think, on girls than it is on men.
Yeah.
Even
if in the back of your mind, there's probably that slut shame.
Yeah.
That I'm sleeping with 3 guys but make no mistake, it happens.
Oh yeah.
There are girls out there that can run 4 or 5 men for a long time.
Yeah.
They're the anomaly, but they're out there.
Yeah.
And they're not strippers only. You got doctors, you got attorneys. You cannot predict.
But I would say at some point in almost every girl's life, at some point, she's running her own rotation of men. It may be 2 months. It may be 5 years. A lot of times it's like after a major breakup, and they're just like, I can't. I just want to fuck, and I want to have fun. That kind of thing.
And this falls under the girls are never single.
Yeah.
You need to know that in the back of your head. You see an attractive girl and she's like, I'm so tired of being single. And how long have you been single? Oh, 3 years. She's been fucking someone.
Yeah, she has.
Someone's. For 3 years.
It's true.
It's changed. The cast has changed, but it's the same production.
Yeah.
But that's the deal. That's the big 3 things about running a rotation is, one, you need to know exactly what your categories are, what your do's and don'ts are, and don't violate that, because that's when you get drama. You got a fuck buddy that you're taking out for drinks.
Yeah.
And she's going to start wanting more. It's natural.
Yeah.
2, the placement of where they go has 3 factors: your desire, their behavior, and what they want out of this thing. And what they want is usually the
Or
wild
their
card.
expectations.
Yeah,
maybe.
their expectations. I like that. And then the third thing is just recognizing you always need to keep your pipeline filled of new girls coming in, or at least in your phone and
Yeah.
potentials.
Keeping those apps going.
Because one of these girls will drop off in time.
Yeah.
They're always coming and going.
Yeah.
And they might break up with the guy they left you for and come back.
Yeah.
You can't, and you just open the door. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. That's who you are, what you're there for.
Right.
So those are the big three things when you're talking about promoting and demoting girls in a rotation. And so if you want more information on game, pickup, managing girls, and
Sex.
you should sign up for my newsletter.
Yeah.
Weekly, once a week. I won't send something to you every day. We discuss these topics in a little bit more in depth.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Although this has been 20 minutes, so
it's been 20 minutes. These things are creeping up, but we appreciate you listening.
Yeah.
If you like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Because this is number like 63 or 64, and we're gunning for 100, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you listening.